Welcome to CSS 3 for Front-End Development for Beginners course. In this section, you'd get to learn what is CSS. CSS syntax, comments, selectors, CSS units, and box model. What is CSS? CSS is a short form of cascading style sheets. It basically provides the styling rules used in adding beauty to a web page. These rules can either be added inline, internally, or externally. But with each method used comes a rule of specificity level. Now we're going to discuss about these three major approaches on how to add the CSS to your web page. The first one being the external approach. In this method, the CSS file is created separately from the HTML file, and through the link tag, it's being added to the head section of various HTML files. Remember when I talked about the configurational section in the head tag when you're trying to structure a web page? So a new tag that you're going to add in your head section is the link, which allows you to link from that particular HTML file to the CSS file. Now, since you're creating an external file for your CSS, it means you can append it to any web page you want same style rule to affect. The code below allows you to link your style sheets, which is your style.css file that is in the same folder as your index.html. With this entire web page is now going to respect any style rule included in the style.css. The second version is applying your CSS style internally. Now with this approach, the style element is added in the head section of the particular HTML file. Now inside of this style tag or style element is where you have your CSS rule set specified. Now one of the disadvantages of this approach is that this style is specific for that particular web page you are including it, meaning that a different HTML file does not have access to this particular style. Now to get started, it's as simple as introducing the style tag, which is inside of the header tag. Now inside of the style tag or the style element, you get to write out the CSS rule set. Here I'm simply setting the background color to teal. The last method to use is inline approach. Now in this method, the style attribute, no longer the style tag or the style element or the URL or the link, now the style attribute is added to the opening tag of that particular element you wish to style. Now you include set of multiple values, that is the CSS style rules, inside of that style attribute you created. One of the disadvantages of this method is that the rules are restricted to that tag alone or to that element alone. Now if you're having external approach, any HTML file that you get to add the link to technically inherits all the style rule set. If you're using an internal approach, every tag found inside of that HTML file has access to the style. But if you're using inline approach, the CSS style rules are only applicable to that particular HTML element receiving the style attributes, which for instance you can see in the example where we are setting the background color of the body tag to teal also. In the next slide, we'll get to learn about CSS syntax and how best to start writing our CSS codes.